In June of 2016, my family and I went on an epic vacation to Costa Rica. We stayed at the Westin Golf Resort and Spa in Playa Conchal, Costa Rica. It was right on the Pacific Ocean. Just a beautiful setting. My family and I one day walked into Brasilito, and these are some pictures of that walk. The hotel that we stayed in is often rated by many websites as the #1 hotel in all of Costa Rica. There are many amenities and activities that you can do at the hotel. One of the things that we did was take a horseback ride along the beach and through some of the forest and jungles right around our hotel. That was an amazing day. One morning I woke up to the sound of trees rustling, and when I walked out and looked up, there were a whole group of monkeys just playing in the trees and on the building tops right by our room. And so here's some clips of that. We did venture away from the hotel for a few days, and one of the places that we went to was the Rincon de la Vejo Volcanic National Park. We went on a real long hike there and then went and saw mud pots and many volcanic areas. On the way back, as we were driving, there were these big oxen carrying a cart. So our tour guide stopped and talked to the person that owned the oxen and let us take some pictures on them. And then the epic cliff jumping near the waterfall.
Winnie is now jumping off a waterfall. Woo!
That was my mom, and she was 64, I think 64 at the time.
Right on.
I must say that cliff jumping near that waterfall was probably one of the biggest highlights of the trip for me. That was a beautiful spot. After the cliff jumping, we went to a Costa Rican spa that was next to this national volcanic park, and we sat in a steam room for a little bit to open up our pores. Once our pores were open, we caked on volcanic mud with a paintbrush all over our bodies. Once the mud was on, we walked out to these lounge chairs and sat in the sun for about 15 minutes while that mud caked in. And then it was off to the hot springs. This water is heated by the volcanic activity, and we washed the mud off. Another day we went to the Chimpanzee Wildlife Refuge. It was along this river in Costa Rica, and there were just a multitude of different animals and birds and things that we saw. It was a very beautiful place, and one of the animals that we saw was the crocodile, and we had to lure them over to the boat to get a closer look with some raw chicken. On the way home, we stopped at this tiny town, and in the center, at their center square, was just full of hundreds of iguana, and there were iguana just walking around everywhere, and this was just an amazing sight to see. The The area of Costa Rica that we were in was in the Guanacaste province, which is in northwest Costa Rica, right along the Pacific Ocean. Here's just some pictures of the beach near where we were. We also explored the different areas around the hotel as well. Went for walks many days, and these are just some pictures of the walks. We flew back home out of the Liberia airport, and it was a great trip.